development, responsible to the Premier for Economic Development, Deputy Premier for Industry and Trade, and then I had Paul Holloway for Regional and Small Business. Sorry, other way around. I had Paul Kiker for Regional and Holloway for Small Business. I had 4 ministers in my last portfolio, which kept me running around, I have to say.
So you had Mr. Foley. How's he?
He's good, yeah. He's good.
Outside persona, you go, my God, how do you sort of manage that?
No, he's a good man. There's no question of that, and he's done a lot for the state, and I guess the legacy that he'll leave if the Adelaide Oval thing goes, and that whole precinct of the Riverside precinct and the Torrens will be a nice. Well, one of the feathers in, I think, his cap. We'll
end up with a Foley statue if that happens, I reckon, mate. We'll. Hey, just government. And it's really interesting what's happened with the federals. Have we got it right? Is the way that we're doing politics right?
I take a lot of interest in politics
you
nowadays.
Do,
I have to.
Yeah.
I do, and I learned a lot out of the 5 years. And I wasn't, my role was really with state government. But I look at amazement at the way that it's working through. I worry about it. I guess the proof will be in the pudding when they start to make decisions and whatever the decision, by the time this goes to where I'm sure we know whether it's Labor or Liberal that get in, but how those decisions are compromised by independents, that worries me enormously.
Yeah.
But it should worry everyone enormously. But no, I think politics has got a bit of rejigging to do over the course of the next 5 years. Hopefully this starts now.
Well, I reckon you're the man to do it, so just get involved and see what you can do.
I've done my little bit in government. I'm doing other things now.
Let's leave government. Your best experiences while you're at the power?
I really enjoyed setting up the club, getting a licence into the AFL. That was exciting times. In that period from 1992 to 97, setting up the club, trying to get players, like key players, the Gavin Wanganese and Matty Primuses and all of those players that we had very minimal concessions. Adelaide had probably more concessions than we did, but we could get 4 uncontracted players. That was fun, going around Australia trying to recruit the best team. And of course, at the end of the journey, when you win a premiership in 2004, it happened to be my swan song year, so that was quite nice.
Went out on top. If you're still in the seat now, what are you thinking of the Gold Coast concessions and the Greater Western Sydney concessions? It's just unbelievable.
I can't believe that there's an agreement to it. I can't work out how clubs have agreed to it, because the concessions are absolutely enormous. It's creating major issues. You can see both with Adelaide Footy Club and Port Adelaide with the players that have left. That'll happen with other clubs over the course of the journey. They want that club to succeed, and there's nothing wrong. I think the AFL's view of expanding the competition to northern states where you've got massive population growth, and particularly in New South Wales and southern Queensland, is a great move, no question about that. How much it affects the traditional states, and I reckon South Australia is in a really, really poor state at the moment. We've got 2 clubs that aren't in finals. We've got a whole range of issues around financial sustainability of one of them. And then you're taking players away. So I reckon the AFL have got to give a hand up to South Australia, and they haven't at this point in time over the last 10 years.
It's interesting talking to Triggy. They'll have a bit of red ink on the bottom of their page for the first time in a long, long time. So gone from, enormous amount of money in the bank, which they have spent obviously down on their facility, to red ink, and then not a strong performance on. It's going to be very interesting over the next 2 or 3 years.
Bigger issue is footy in South Australia, and the interest that we're getting less crowds, so the crowds are falling, memberships are falling, but you'd expect maybe on the reverse of that, maybe TV would be going up, but it's actually going down as well. So that's why I think there's major issues there.
Adelaide Oval, will that fix it?
It'll help, big issue, but I'm not sure that'll be ready till 2015 or 14, 15,
they're saying
16.
14, so let's say 15, 16.
Okay. It will be great for both clubs.
Yeah.
It'll be fantastic. Your phone's going.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brian.
I think it's there's 535 million good reasons why Adelaide Oval should go.
Yeah, and I liked the approach of the government. If you don't accept it, it's off the table, so you will accept it.
You'll never, ever get an opportunity like that for sport, footy and cricket again.
Yeah. Righto, outside of work, what do we get up to, Brian?
Well, I love working. I've been Chief Executive for 18 years, and I probably end up ended up in that 18 years spending a lot of time working, a bit like you, where I'm
not sure I'm a great example.
Night, weekends, and now I'm enjoying my weekends with my own business. But I do like sport. I do like, I've got family, so spend a bit more time with them. I've got a property up in the hills, 4 or 5 acres that takes a lot of work for me at Aldgate, so I spend a bit of time on that. And if I can get a game of golf in occasion, I will, and love travelling. My wife works for Phil Hoffman Travel, and that's a good plug for them.
Yeah.
And we do get away a bit, so enjoy all of that.
All right, what's your favourite destination so far?
Well, I'd have to say when I river cruise along in Europe, that was about 18 months ago. That was fabulous. Canada's a fantastic place. I really enjoyed Canada for the scenery. And so there's lots of good places.
There you go. I was born in Canada, Brian. Did you go to Toronto?
I have been to Toronto, but not this trip. But,
Magical. So I was Calvary Hospital. Visit that next time.
Is that your birthplace? Oh, gosh.
Brian, serious note, thank you very much for joining us. Really, really highly regarded individual. Done enormous things for South Australia, both from government, from government and also the footy side of things. And we really wish you all the very best with your new ventures. But thank you very much for joining us on Open House, Brian.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, mate.
Good man.
Good on you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Brian Cunningham. As you can see, just what you see is what you get. Enormously talented, sincere fella. We'll be back after the break.